Greetings, weary travelers, come, warm yourself by the fire, and let us regale you with mighty tales, tales of adventure, tales of heroism, and of course, tales of Tamriel. I'm your host, Arcaneer Silvershield, and I'm joined by our full crew tonight, starting with the man, the myth, the legend, Lotus of Doom. How's it going, Lotus?
It's going well, and now we have all sorts of fun dungeon tales from all of us instead of just you trying not to spoil stuff.
Yeah, it is gonna be a fun episode talking about that, and maybe a little bit frustrating. But before we get into that, our newest official co-host, although she's been on the show many times to, everyone's enjoyment, Doc herself. How's it going, Doc?
Hey guys, I'm good. How's everybody doing today?
Good. Excited. I mean, all of us did have, well, except Doc.
I know!
I think except you, it was a rocky start for tonight's show. We are an hour and a half late with the live show, so
Yep.
hopefully that'll be our
dedication.
be our only dumpster fire, and the rest of the show will move smoothly.
Yeah, a starting fire to warm up, and then hopefully nice smooth sailing.
Yeah. I mean, we do welcome everyone by saying, warm yourself by the fire, and there has to be a fire. And we never said it's a proper like tavern or campfire. It's usually just a dumpster fire that we lit up at the beginning of the show. So it just fits.
Exactly. Yeah.
We make
up
do
that
with
dumpster.
what we have. But yeah, so as Lotus said, today's episode, we are finally going to be talking more in detail about the Update 33 and Ascending Tide DLC, and go more into the dungeons, what we thought about them, talk about the mechanics. Not like a guide, but our experience with it. Mentioned, what we thought was good design, what we thought was not so much a good design.
Yeah, you have one notable issue.
Yeah. So we are basically going to be talking more in detail about those. So if you still haven't done the dungeons and you'd like to do them blind, we will let you know when we are about to go into those, so that you can skip ahead, or from then on, just stop listening to the show. It will be in the Tales section, so we do have our news and everything until we get there. So yeah. I just blanked out for a second, but...
I was like,
yeah.
Did Ark die?
It's because of the freaking Google Documents glaring with that completely white page into my face. I completely got distracted by it. But okay, so we do have game news, and it's mostly cosmetic related, because we do have the Crown Store Showcase April, and we do have the April daily login rewards, which are not interestingly, because they did say they are going to fill it up because of the issues Update 33 had, but it is packed in terms of the rewards that we get. Normally, it's just, a lot of ignorable items. But this time, it is
sort of kind of...
Yeah.
It's very good to the point where I feel like people are now... Prepare yourselves to hear a constant deluge of, well, it's not like this month, going forward, because we're probably not going to see something unless they're really turning it around to aggressively be like, people have not cared about this for a while. Let's really spruce it up. I feel like this is going to be kind of a specific situation where it's like, okay, this month is notably good, but then we're going to get the insufferable deluge of every month thereafter. People are going to be like, oh, back to cheap ones. Remember when it was March? March was great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just be prepared, because this month is
curious to see. It's really good this month. Like, yeah, I'm curious to see if they'll continue on with that in the months ahead, or like you said, if they don't, then it's
going to point out how
everybody has to complain, and it's like, guys, this was exciting. Like, I haven't been excited about the daily rewards in a minute. I think since the last time they did 100k gold, because I need that gold, guys. But
I missed every single one of those.
Of course,
oh no!
And like, don't get me wrong, it's free. So like, if it's not super enticing, don't bother with it. Like, there's some months where I see no value in like getting, so like, I just don't really care that much. It's whatever. But it's not like we're paying for something specifically with the daily login rewards, and it's like, oh, these are terrible, and I feel slighted. It's like, okay, so then don't log in. Like,
exactly.
I get that. But it's just funny because like this month is kind of noticeably good, almost nonstop, like
almost too good.
It's like excessive. And the other thing,
like, what do they know? I'm just kidding.
Right. And I mean, they've had a lot of technical issues, which we will kind of address. But one of the things too is, which I've learned, is there's a bit of discrepancy on what people specifically want out of their daily rewards. Because one of the things that I've always thought is fantastic for daily rewards is when they give away the DLCs. And most people hate that because they're like, well, I already have ESO Plus. This is garbage. I don't get anything. I was like, cool, but now I don't have to pay $15 for this. So this is like the best daily reward.
I do like that. Yeah.
That also is a little bit debatable. But yeah, I don't think anybody's complaining about this month's rewards currently.
I want my jester, dang it. Like, that's what I want.
Which,
I was so
we never
excited.
actually got to say what the rewards are. So there's a lot of, there's over, I think, 150% experience scrolls, multiple 50% experience scrolls, a lot of research scrolls, and like writing lessons. A white lion mount, which for daily login rewards to give a mount is very unexpected, and it's only like 10th day or something like that too.
Yeah, it's pretty early, and I will say that now I will ride around on something other than the free level up horse on PC. That's all I have.
There is also the Jester Anglidor house guest. So there is like a mount and a house guest, which normally adds up to like 5,000 crowns-ish when you put them together in the recent pricing. So it is a lot of value in this month's daily login reward. Some people even thought, like, is this an April Fool's joke? This better not be an April Fool's joke. But turned out it was not. So, yeah. And again, I don't expect this to continue because when they first announced the daily rewards, it started with stuff like, crown crates and things like that. And then it eventually just went back down. So this month's probably due to the issues Update 33 had. So.
Yep. And the other thing, just shout out to... Bro, we got this as part of the ESO stream team. He actually did a kind of a funny poll where it was like, should we get a mount at some point each month in a daily reward as like a real end goal for making sure people log in? And the choices were yes and yes, which I greatly amused because I was like, that probably would, even if there was just some variation of something like a mount or a pet or something highly coveted, that might be enough to just kind of nudge people toward it because, like you were saying, they started off much more like, oh, I don't want to miss this. And it's tapered off to just, here's a little something if you're logging in anyways, but it doesn't seem too likely that it would nudge you towards specifically actually logging in.
Yeah. But
well, there one thing I do have that I thought about, on some of the months, let's be honest, the daily rewards were kind of like meh. But was it because they factored in the and I can't keep track of like the months. I mean, like, what is time anymore?
Yeah.
But were those months the months where other big games were coming out at that time? So they were just using it in their head, or like, oh, well, people probably aren't going to be logging in anyway, so they don't feel like they're missing out. I don't know.
Interesting.
That was my only thought was, if we looked back at the times when they were kind of like meh months, was it because there were other big games coming out at that time?
Sure.
But definitely could be. There is, I believe if the terminology is the same as the mobile games, there is a whole department called Live Ops that handle this stuff. Basically, they are in charge of creating events, creating bundles, creating like the Crown Store stuff, daily login rewards. And they take into consideration so many things. It's the dates, national holidays, the other game releases, how much people are spending on the Crown Store, how them adding things to, daily login rewards affects the Crown Store sales or the game sales and vice versa. So it's probably a whole department of people coming up with these and trying to figure out the most optimal, because at the end of the day, they are trying to make more money from daily login rewards. Like, that's the purpose of adding anything to the game. And the idea is, as far as I'm, like, my theory is, they have a certain, like, average money they get per person as they log in. Like, how much a person spends on the Crown Store whenever they log into the game and things like that. So they probably try to maximize the amount of times people log into the game while also not providing as many things in the daily login rewards that they don't spend anything in the game, in the Crown Store. So they're probably just messing around with the ideas there and just checking data to see, okay, we gave crown crates, which reduced the sales of crown crates. So let's not give crown crates. Let's try giving a mount, see how that affects it, and things like that. So the other game releases could definitely be a part of that thought process that goes into the daily login rewards. So yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Yay. I was just curious.
But yeah, good stuff this month. We'll see how they might even just like gradually lower the rewards again to, make it more sneaky. So maybe we'll get a couple more months of cool rewards out of this April reward dump. Maybe 100k gold again, maybe some AP. I don't know. We'll see.
This is the first time they've given us a mount in the daily rewards. They did it a couple years back, because I'll never forget, because one of my friends, he absolutely hates the camel mounts. And for our first like daily reward mount that they give us for free, it was a freaking camel. And he was so mad. Like, he was like, of all the mounts they give us, it would be a camel. And he was just so mad because he's like, I'm never going to use this. So his feelings for the camels is your feeling towards guars, Ark.
That's exactly, that was exactly my reaction. One STDLC, who's also in chat right now, gifted me like 15 crown crates. And the only Apex I got in the game, I got the freaking Guar Apex out of the like 4th crate I opened from that gift. So that was my exact reaction. Of all the things I could have gotten, the Guar is the one I got.
Yes.
So yeah, I do have an Apex Guar. I don't think I have any other Apex mounts. I have an Apex Guar.
Just a Guar.
So yeah.
It's like it's meant to be. It's like it's meant to be.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think of all of them, I'm the least a fan of the camel ones, to be perfectly honest, too. Like, they're just, yeah. I remember I got my very first, like, I don't know, special mount from the Crown Crates was a Flame Atro one, and it was a camel. And at first I was so excited, and then I was like, oh, I'm never going to use this.
Yeah, see, a couple of my friends are all about the camel mounts, where they just like, look how derpy it is. It's like running across.
It is very derpy.
Yeah, so it's like,
yeah.
I think people enjoy making them spit. Like,
that is the fun part.
It's
that
one of
is
the
really
best,
funny.
like, standing animations. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on top of the April Day login rewards, we also got the Crown Store Showcase and the new crates, which I forgot the name, but I have the game open in the back just for this. Sun Control crates. There we go. And they are all like naval related, and they are so good. I'm normally not one to praise crown crates because I hate the practice, but these have some real cool stuff in them. And this is the first time I'm actually kind of sad that I haven't been farming my Seals of Endeavor every day, because there are some cool stuff that I really want to get out of these. So I'm going to start with the Crown Store Showcase first, just go over some of the main things. We're not going to go into all of the things. if you have, by the way, like anything you want to point out specifically, do so. As usual, mounts, skins, the Subarkeel armaments, which look cool if you like sort of elven style, because to me it looks like elven style. I don't know the lore behind it. If anyone does know, let me know. It's called Saberkeel. Saberkeel? I guess it's Saberkeel.
Saberkeel? Yeah, I'd say Saberkeel.
Yeah, to me it does look elven though, so I'm not sure how I feel about it. Lotus's favorite shield comes back to the store. The Elder Scrolls Artifact Spellbreaker shield. So, yeah, there's that. The Stormfist arms pack. That might be the only redeeming thing in your overall outfit of glass armor. And along with that, actually, the glass motif comes back to the Crown Store. I don't know why you would pay any money for it, but if looking absolutely ugly and garbage is your thing, you can drop money on that.
Can't wait till we get to the Tales of Guaranir later. He's had a lot of success this week, Ark.
So I've heard on Twitter, yeah, so I've seen. It looks like he's getting even more like time than your actual character. So
yep, putting in work on Guaranir recently. Those shared achievements are great.
So there's the Breton hero armor and Jester personalities both coming back to the store. Now this is one of my highlights: the minstrel personality, which is just it's all about the instruments, flute, lute, and the drums. And I don't know how it works yet. I don't either. So it just says, ready your instruments. It's time to show off your vast musical talents with stunning performances of the lute, flute, and drums. Now, we all know the current lute, flute, and drum in the game is just sucks. There is no musical value at all to it. At least compared to like the look at the new instruments they added with the I forgot the name.
Greymore.
Yeah, Greymore, and then I think there was an Elsewhere as well.
Elsewhere.
Elsewhere. Oh yeah, the
Elsewhere had that really cool string instrument that I don't know.
Yeah, I got it. Easrush.
Yes.
Singing. Because that's one of my favorite emotes. Yeah.
And then with Blackwood, we got the Kanun. That's also really nice. So they really upped their game with the instruments later on, but flute, lute, and drums, they just fell short compared to them. So I think it's just gonna, if you like, because the personalities, what they do is they overwrite some of the emotes. So I think they're just going to overwrite these emotes and make them actually pleasant. So I'm looking forward to that.
I just want to know if my character, when she's like running around, is going to be running around with the lute while she's like fighting in a dungeon or like blowing the horn or whatever. Like that's what I want. I
actually hadn't considered that. That could be it as well. I mean,
each personality has their special run, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you have the Jester run, which is hilarious. And then you have like even the heroic run is I think the heroic run is kind of derpy, but it's funny. I like it. So, but I really want to see like if the minstrel or bard, it's basically a bard. Like Maddie and I have talked about this. It's a bard. Like maybe they're making up for the fact that they didn't give us bards in the 6th chapter.
So you get this.
So we get this, and maybe it's a taste to see how well we respond to it, and then maybe they'll give us bards. But I'm still holding hope.
Early wishful thinking.
Yeah, still holding hope. Maybe if we buy it, if everybody buys this minstrel personality, they'll see how much we really, really, really want the bards, and then they'll give us bards. This is what I'm sticking with right now. So
I don't know about that bit, but we do have the treasure hunter personality where you run with a torch in your hand. So yeah, maybe we will run with the loot or flute in our hand. Yeah, could be fun.
I hope so. I'm totally gonna buy this personality. I don't buy a lot of the personalities, but this one I'm totally. Well, I guess I should wait till see, but no, I'm totally gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why don't you just run around with like a harp on your back? Just an enormous harp.
Instead of a shield. That would be so great. That's awesome.
We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna come on April 13, so we won't know until then. But I'm definitely buying that. I think
1 more week.
There's a lot of music boxes this on April. We got the Med Harley Quinn, which is like the Jester Festival style. We got the Sands of Alikir. We got the Wonders of the Shoal, which is very you know those like terrariums people make, like a whole ecosystem in a jar. It looks like that, and that's a gorgeous music box.
It's pretty. Yeah, I'm curious what it sounds like. Like I always love the music boxes.
I don't know any of the soundtracks or music by the name, so I never know what they sound like by the name. I have to open them up.
Just based on the names.
Yeah.
We also have the Enigmas of the Elder Way, which is also a very neat looking music box. It's sort of like this orb, like the energy orb thing. Yeah. So
that's the Sijic soundtrack one. Like I remember my friends had that one. Yeah.
Then I will probably dislike it. And that, you know, that remember that house which is completely underwater in the corals with fish swimming around, and there's this like energy force barrier holding up the water, like holding back the water. That house is coming as well, and it's limited time, which I really don't like when they do this, because these houses tend to be very expensive. But it's going to be limited time from April 13 to April 28. So if you plan on getting this house, get your crowns ready. I expect another 10k to 15k crown range for this one. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
that sounds about right.
Because it's massive. Not even just the like when you go and see like, because everybody thinks just the underwater part, but in the actual house part itself, it looks like a huge like grand hall. It's really dope. Like it's a massive house. Yeah.
What they should have done, because I think I checked it out on PTS if I remember correctly, but they should have made a giant whatever swim in the massive, like that force barriered area.
Oh, yeah.
Because you do have small fishes swimming around, but they should have made, I don't know, something like a whale or a giant turtle swim by, and that would have just sold this. Or something. Yeah.
Oh, if they did that, I would have bought it. Yeah, I've been like,
it's such a missed opportunity.
Probably, I guess I'm happy they didn't, because then I can save my crowds. Yeah, because I'm like, it's a cool house. I'll just let my friends buy it, and I'll just go visit them.
I came to that same position over the 8 years with Crown Store. Whenever I see something that I really like, but like there's a deal breaker in it, I'm like, oh god, thank God there's a deal breaker in it, because so much money spent on this.
For reals.
There's going to be a new house guest, a red guard called Relic Apprentice Marafar. So that'll be available from April 28th to May 12th as well, which I'm really happy. The more house guests there are, the more happier I am, even though there's a limit on the houses, like the amount of people you can just chug into it. But still, it opens up
people in one house.
Yeah, it opens up. It makes the houses at least feel like proper places rather than just a ruin of some extravagant design for whatever reason. So
the I can't remember if you mentioned, but the Grand Sijic Villa is also going to be available to buy as well. Yeah. It originally came out I got it for free. Like that's how I got it. Yeah. Like when they first released it, it was one of those free it was their very first ever community event. Yeah. I was basically an Uber in Somerset because I was like, I want that house, dang it. And then I've literally done nothing with it. But yeah, but I remember throughout the years, people have been like, I really want to buy this house. And then they finally put it back on the market so people could actually buy it. So yes, for anybody who's still been wanting that house, it is coming back out. It'll be available from April 28th to May 12th. Yeah.
So it does make a great storage house.
Yes.
For all your furniture.
That's anything to save bank space. I stuff it in there. And then when I do actual house design, I go to there and I basically look around like I'm at Walmart. And I'm like, all right, let's see. What do I already have? And I like grab the pieces I want to bring them to a different house.
That's actually my Alpine house in Western Skyrim because I was holding off for Stone Eagle Eyrie.
Yes.
Eyrie in Markov.
I do remember
because
that.
For me, the game changer was the fact that you could actually have access to an Outlaws Refuge inside your house. And I was like, done, sold. It was already in Markarth and I was already going to buy it. But then when I found that out, I was like, okay, I'm buying it. So yeah, I did spend pounds on that one. But yeah, so the Alpine house that they gave away for the other free event, that's my storage house, basically.
Yeah, so that was the Crown store. We also have the new, as I mentioned, Sunken Throw crates. Now, as I said, these are all naval-related coral designs and things like that. And all the mounts...
Think Somerset.
yeah, pretty much think Somerset.
Yeah.
All the houses and whatnot do represent that. There is one Radiant Apex horse. Now, these were massive controversy based on their gem cost, which this one is 2,500 gems, which is an insane number. However, for the first time ever, I am very impressed. I normally really don't like these flashy mounts and things like that. This one, imagine a horse made out of entirely of corals and reefs and everything like that. It has fish swimming around you and the horse. That's...
You're in one big bubble. It's amazing.
I was not expecting that. And that is... I don't know who came up with that. But that's if you are going to pay 2,500 gems for something, I think it would be this. Every other Apex rewards before this, or Radiant Apex rewards, they were just flashy. They had these hairs around them or fires coming out of everywhere. This one has fish swimming around. Who came up with that? I don't know, but I like it.
Because I agree with you. It's one of the things that in the Discord I'm constantly on the same side as Gallisner on is we're both oh my god, the flashiness, totally not for me. I like the lower fantasy thing, and it's whatever. But the those celestial mounts that are just removed.
Oh, they were
all
pretty.
I can say is don't smoke skooma and just stare at those because it's just whoa. It's just those things are I would just stare at the animations. This is so great.
I ended up getting this cinch for it from a crate, and I wanted the wolf, but I got a cinch, and what's cool is when they roar, if you make it roar and then have it run, a star trail follows, and I was like, oh
yeah.
It's
I really liked the ram that I saw.
The ram was very cool.
It's just those were very cool, especially because it's okay, high fantasy aside, it was just whatever the design is to the art on that. I was this is neat looking.
Well, I love anything space, celestial looking too. So I actually really liked these crates because of that. But those mounts in particular were very pretty. Yeah.
Ethereal Archive is one of my favorite trials because of how pretty it is, just because of that. And I was these mounts look like they fell out of the that trial.
Yeah.
People are going to be
I will say... go ahead.
Because we just praise the celestial crates a lot, and they're going to be oh, I should get these. They're going to log in, and it's they're gone.
No. they're no longer there, guys. They're no longer there. Now we have cool seahorses. Now, this might be the first time I ever want an actual horse mount, because I don't really care about the horse mounts. I'm more for the wolf mounts. I love my wolf mounts.
Sure.
But the seahorse is pretty dope. It's almost like a seahorse, and I love seahorses. So I was
it's a play on words for seahorse.
I know, and I love it. But there is something in the crates that I went and I totally bought it for myself with gems, and it was cheap anyway. It was 40 gems. But I have been waiting for this, guys, for 7 years since console came out. I had created my tank tune, the Dread Pirate Roberts. Some of you guys have seen him. I spent 2 hours making him look exactly like Wesley from The Princess Bride. Okay. My biggest lament about this was that I could never find the perfect black visor to go over his head. And I have been waiting and checking the Crown Store constantly for this thing for almost 7 flippin' years. They finally had one in these crates, and I squealed. Like, legit squealed. I was like, I got bought it because I was so excited. So yes, I will post a picture and show you guys. He is complete now. My Dread Pirate Roberts is complete.
I gotta see this because I love that movie.
It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, that movie's so good.
Yeah, like I spent 2 hours creating this guy, guys. Like seriously. So yeah, so I will post pictures, and I was so excited.
Please do.
Yeah, as you wish.
Oh, that was so great. So thank you, Zaz. I was so happy.
So there are some really cool rewards. There are actually animated aquariums. I really love them, like with actual fish swimming around, and their color they are very teal, which I really love. So those are pretty neat. Some new amazing tattoos on very different ends of the spectrum as well. So we got the cherry blossom marks, which are pretty actually like gives me Japanese tattoo vibes, and I really like them.
Love cherry blossoms.
And then there is I don't remember the name, but hold on, let me just bring it up because I never have the game open in the background when I do the show, but for this I was like, I had to get into
the
Crown
other thing
Store.
is too, which not that we ever actually I guess we have been at certain points, but this is probably the most positive sounding thing we've ever been about the Crown Store. Like,
dude, I really love these ones. Like I normally hate it, but it's just
normally it's like that's
also,
one of the things that people are like, if you ever get negative, it's usually about the Crown Store stuff, and it's like this one we're like, oh, this stuff's real pretty.
I mean, the thing is, there is now, like, you can now buy them with Seals of Endeavor as well. Yes, it's like, it takes time.
You got to work at it still. It's not.
Yeah, but I mean, for example,
free, but it's not just.
I really love that was the tattoo that I was getting, the Old Salt body tattoos, which is like full on. You have the galleons on your leg, you have the like the kraken on your chest, you have the compass and the anchor on your shoulders. It's really good. And even though I haven't been playing the game for like regularly for so long, I can get it with just Seals of Endeavor right off the bat.
Nice.
So now I am more positive about Crown Store now, and these are really cool. So
they also released they're really cool. I like that they started doing this. But they released a different type of eyes that you can buy for your tune too. Like these ones are like glowy cat eyes. I'm using them for like my werewolf tune because it looks really cool.
Oh, that makes sense.
But I like they started doing this. I think the first set of eyes that they started selling, that sounds weird. They're selling eyes, guys. But was the Spider Kith eyes, and I was so excited about it. So I bought those, and then they've done a few more like the Conjure ones that are like purpley, and then they had the Azure eyes that were blue, and I feel like they did another one and I missed it. But I like that they did this. And these are completely different, where they're not just glowy. Like they actually, like the pupils, they look like cat eyes. Like they look really cool. So, yeah, that was something that that was kind of noteworthy to me. And just
I've seen people make like Geralt of Rivia with those eyes in ESL.
Oh, that's smart. I didn't even think about that. Yes, that's cool.
Cosplaying other games in Elder Scrolls Online.
I love it. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Cynical Alchemist does that. I think he has a Geralt.
Nice.
Might be, because I follow them on Twitter and I saw it on Twitter, so it may have been them. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's them. Yeah, from Quill Violet.
That's clever. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
But yeah, there's a lot of emotes in these crown crates as well, which I really like because it's one of my favorite things to collect in the game, the emotes.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, overall good stuff. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Oh, Lotus, have you seen the new shield, the Reefborn shield in the crate?
Yes, I have.
It is, the very rare time, it is actually a massive shield instead of just a buckler-sized thing. Which
is a big problem this game has. Too many shields are too small.
Yeah. Like, most of them don't even cover my Nord's shoulder, let alone actually protect him. This thing, though, this thing looks like it will, so I like it.
I like the design on it, too. It's really cool.
I mean, it looks kind of counterintuitive because people could just hook an axe into that, like, coral design and just yank it away, but it's a game. We are going to ignore that part and just enjoy the design.
Practicality aside.
And with that, I think I can just turn off my games and let my PC struggle less, because that was about it in terms of our news. Unless there's something I missed, because I really did have very little prep time for this week's episode. So,
no, that's...
Do you think I missed anything?
No, I believe that's pretty much it, other than the fact that literally the Jesters Festival is currently going on. With all the Jester-related things. I mean, it's currently happening, so make sure to get your tickets and your double XP. So
yeah. Just logged into Twitter to see if there's any like announcements that I missed or not, but doesn't look like it. There was ESO live with Finn going through dungeons, but I missed it due to IRL, so nothing I can add on that part.
Yeah.
Oh, they did release the White Rake's Mayhem numbers.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed in our pact.
Well, I have a question about that. Okay, so because I saw your comment on it, Lotus, and I guess maybe I've read the information wrong, but go ahead and say what it says first, and then I'll have my question.
So basically, it gives you like total kills and all this stuff. But one of the things was total keeps captured, and the number one was the Daggerfall Covenant. Number two was listed as the Eldmere Dominion, and the third one was listed as Ebonheart Pact. Were you reading it as those were taken by other people?
Yeah, so that's what I was reading. So I was like, yeah. So I was like, maybe our keeps were taken the least, and so that's what I was thinking. So then when you said, I was like, oh, I didn't even read it that way.
Yeah, I believe, yes. I think that was the amount that we took, which apparently we took a vacation.
Apparently, because it's like, wait, that doesn't even sound right. Like, how did red end up bottom? Like that, like never.
No.
Well, no. Here's the thing. See, for you to capture a keep, you first have to lose the keep. The red has total map control all the time, so we can't capture the keeps. So
I like where this is going.
that just means we had less keeps to capture because we held on to our keeps.
We
the
had
most.
all of our keeps, right?
That's fair.
There you
fair.
go.
Yep.
That's how you read that data.
Yep. So we will discuss no more of that. Clearly, we just didn't lose anything, so we didn't need to capture anymore. All right.
Can we at least celebrate the fact that yellow did not win? Can we at least celebrate that?
That is. I
mean, blue is always going to be the lesser of two evils, in my opinion. I will
agree with that.
Like,
I mean, I love hiking American anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so it's like, at least, sorry, AD people. But...
And our friends at Red Diamond Courier are very pleased.
So some of the other stats are the most defeated Imperial City boss is King Krogo. Mm-hmm. Is this a word, winningest Battlegrounds team? Is winningest a word, or did the social media person have fun with this? Because I don't know.
No, it's kind of become a word. I don't know if it was originally a word.
But there you go, it's winningest Battlegrounds.
Yeah, it's like
team.
when people say funner instead of most fun.
Oh,
it's like,
okay.
Now it's become that funner is like sort of accepted, but it's like it's more fun or most fun.
It's more funner.
Oh, dear Lord. So I'm not entirely sure about winningest, but I mean, whatever. We get the gist. It probably is a word. It probably is.
Apparently, with 51,876 victories, Stormlords were the winningest Battlegrounds team.
Okay.
Team Purple.
There were 986,316 keeps captured. Again, Ebonheart Pact has the least number of keeps captured, but that's because we didn't have keeps to capture. That's how you read that. 18.47 million players defeated. And that's an insane number. Like the million is not a normal number.
Yes.
And considering we know there's over 18 million accounts sold in Elder Scrolls Online from last year's event.
From the High one, they said there were over 20.
Oh yeah, I forgot to update that. Yeah. I forgot to update that info in my brain. But so we have over 20 million accounts. Not all of that is active. I imagine a very little amount of that is active. And a lot smaller of that amount actually does PvP. So 18.47 million players defeated and 160 billion alliance point earned is an insane number.
It is crazy.
A lot of,
considering that PvP is regarded as like the,
dead portion of the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. So not so dead with those numbers. I mean, obviously this was an event, but still.
Sure.
Also, apparently they killed, or rather trounced, 21,000 troll scamps. And
I believe that though.
Goodness me, I never got any of those suckers. It's never had enough DPS to actually kill a troll scamp before they ran away. So I am upset with this 21,000 number. None of that was me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, always fun to see stats like this. I enjoy when companies do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much our news on this again. If anyone can remember anything else.
No, that seems like covering the other bits. But yeah, so I don't know. Let's enjoying this event before we get the announcement of the anniversary event, because we're kind of in our event season, so to speak.
This is my favorite time frame, though. I love the anniversary.
Technically,
I like the Jester Festival too, but I haven't done any of it.
Because I'm in the future, it is the 4th of April today, right now for me, for the last 11 minutes, and that's the anniversary of ESO.
That's true.
We have the Jesters Festival. What is even happening anymore with ESO's events and scheduling? Shouldn't the anniversary event happen now?
Yeah, Jester Festival should have started like a few weeks earlier.
But we had the Explorers celebration, so which came out of nowhere.
Which I can't complain.
Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that this event will end on like Tuesday. Not this Tuesday, like the following Tuesday. And then probably that Tuesday or Wednesday, they're going to be like, oh, by the way, Thursday, 10 a.m. It's the anniversary. 'Cause I think that's what happened last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe. It is getting difficult to keep up with ESO's events. I mean, they did get better at it for the last couple years with
this portion of the year always gets a bit squished.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess it does make sense because you want to have Jester Festival on April 1st, the April Fool's Day.
Right.
And then you want to have anniversary event on ESO's anniversary, which is just like 3 days apart. So
there's only so much you can do because they're basically the same thing. So it's like
they should just make it anniversary Fool's event and be done.
Anniversary Fool's Day.
Fool's anniversary, Jester's anniversary, anniversary Jesters. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so that brings us to the Tales portion of the show. But before that, we have a round of shout outs to give for our supporters over at patreon.com/UESP, which helps us get the show going and pay for the various expenses the show does come with, and also get you cool rewards, all in Elder Scrolls themed created, or rather like brought to you by the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages. So those names are, some of which I will most likely butcher. I'm sorry in advance, but Ian Hart, Heo Jace, Carter Kohler, and Julia Orr, thank you so very much for joining us over at the UESP's Patreon. And we really, really do appreciate the support over there as well. We do not have an iTunes review for this week. And before we get to Tales, we are going to have a quick break. And we'll be back with you in a minute. And we are back for the fan favorite segment of the show, which is Tales. And as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we are going to be talking about the dungeons and the mechanics this time, or in the new, corollary and shipwrights something. So if you do not want to get the spoilers for the mechanics of these dungeons, you may skip ahead or just stop listening from this point forward, because the rest of the show will be just Tales.
The only other thing, which I want to just shout out from SD in chat, apparently the Jester's Festival ends Thursday.
That's so weird.
Like this Thursday?
There are 4 days left. So
okay.
It ends on the 7th. So that makes me curious. Are they ending it so that they can get the anniversary thing started?
That makes sense. Makes sense.
It threw me off because I was like, oh wait, that's a different day than the usual ending situation. So maybe that's why they're doing that, actually, to kick off the next event. But just appreciate the credit.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what the new cake will be like.
Oh, I know.
We've been getting some weird cakes, like more demon cakes and things like that. Deathlands cake.
Last year's cake was awkward. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, now I'm curious.
It's got seashells on it. It's got seashells or something, coral, or it's gonna be pretty.
I want a pirate ship. I want a pirate ship, and you can have blue frosting, so it looks like water.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm. That's what I want.
Oh my gosh, I want cake now, guys.
The show is cancelled. We are going out to get cake.
I don't want cake
we'll get a pie instead.
Ooh, I would go for pie, Maddie, Oh, dang it, I'm hungry.
Okay, so,
I can't wait to see what they designed.
Giant sloth on top. Oh no.
Oh no.
The chat is now going crazy with the cat ideas. That would be one cake that I probably would rather not just taste at all. It's freaking Zamaja on top of it. It's
or
Zabaja.
Yes, I was about
they're
to
the
say.
same. One is a bootleg version of the other.
Well, when we were doing the dungeons blind, people apparently found it rather awkward that I was like, Zabaza? What is this, her cousin? I was like, what is going on?
For real, though.
The thing I wanted to say about Corollary from last week, but I couldn't say, is the last boss, which is the hidden final boss,
yes,
is just Cloud Rest. Like a bootleg Cloud Rest for people who didn't have a trial group to do Cloud Rest. It's just...
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Also, I guess since we're starting the whole the Tales bit, bootleg Cloud Rest, which I will agree with you on, because we started the fight and she just immediately mind blasted people. I was like, yo, I couldn't even get behind you first. Crap, Zabaza. But Veteran is like, I have no idea what that fight is. We just teed off on her and she died.
It's just Cloud Rest without the portal. So you just go from corner to corner and it dies.
Let's just say when you do the final hard mode, Zabaza isn't exactly a pushover anymore. It's like the Black Drake Villa one, where it's the if you do it. Yeah, she has like 12 million hit points, and there's ads everywhere, and there's heat-seeking orbs that do like 98% of your health damage to literally everybody.
Wow.
And those giant tentacles off to the side, they whiplash around and like clip people. And yeah, it's a lot more involved on the hard mode version of Zabaz.
No. At least we haven't had a chance to try the hard modes on Shipwright, and we haven't finished the corollary hard modes either. But for the first two bosses, the difficulty level between the veteran and hard mode seems to have just increased.
Yeah,
especially on that second boss it's just stuff of nightmares level
let's
chaos.
Start with corollary here. Because I'm waiting to hear this, and I'm waiting to hear everybody's opinion on corollary. And I've completed all the hard modes of corollary. We did the first hard mode of Shipwreck's Regret, but when we were on stream, we did it with whoever was handy, which meant we didn't have a healer handy.
I don't know how.
We'll just do it with 3 DPS. And chat was just like, you guys are messed up. Just slapped around.
Yeah, that hard mode's redonkulous.
Yeah, and I have not gone back to do that one again because we didn't want to waste time on the hard modes because I want the gear out of that from the Tide Turner set. And
is that the one that applies major vulnerability?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So we were much more concerned about beating it as many times as possible so I could gear up so that we could start using that in my group. So we were like, look, we could do the hard mode, but that's going to be way too slow. Like, let's just spam through that dungeon. So we've run that a bunch of times on regular vet and normal just to scoop up material. So now that I have a set, now we're going to go back. But we didn't have time to do both of all the hard modes because we were farming gear so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so starting with corollary, especially the second boss, first boss, corollary is very unique. What Ark, you've been having to sit on these for a while.
Yeah. Okay. So that first boss with the toilet flush mechanic, that caught us by surprise, but it's so fun. I mean, at least the first time you do it, it's so fun. Once you throw yourself at it for like the 9th time, it's no longer that fun, but it was a lot of the mechanics in dungeons we have in ESO, they look very unique, but mechanically they play very similar. Like you have to either block something, you have to hide behind something. This was a curveball because it just starts spinning you around the map and you're like, okay, so what do I do now? And then you see the like splashes, you jump up, and then you're like, okay, I killed the ads. But then the lightning damage from the ads just starts ramping up. Now, first, because I wasn't able to talk about this, as you said last week, first we thought, okay, I guess we kill this guy and the lightning damage goes away. So we started just like dropping everything on the freaking spider thingy. But the lightning damage just adds up so much. I can't even with Luna's beast heals, and I'm dropping damage shields, we are dropping barrier, we are dying. So I'm like, okay, Luna was like, am I not healing right? She started doubting herself, and I was like, there is no way this is a DPS or a healing mechanic if Kitsu and Jen can't kill it, and Luna can't heal it. Like, if they can't, if our DPS can't DPS it down, and if our healer can't keep me alive, or keep us alive, no way that's a DPS or healing check. And I was like, okay, we are missing something. So we tried jumping into the water, and jumping back up, and nothing changed. So we started trying all sorts of various things. Who taught the idea of jumping into water, but then staying in it for 6 seconds was a good idea? And
so,
where does the game teach you this? Because the main problem is we all have our game volume low because we are just shooting the shit among each other. So we don't know if an NPC even told us this, and we skipped the storyline as well.
It's on your debuff bar.
What is a debuff bar? I never had a debuff bar. Where do you where does it even come
It's
from?
right above your health. No add-ons required. It's right above your health. You can turn on debuffs, and it says you have electrical overcharge. And when you go in the water, it starts rinsing it off. Once it's rinsed off, you get back out of the water.
Oh.
So it depends on you having a debuff bar. That's not.
Yes.
I don't like. I never played ESO with a debuff bar.
Yeah, well, you can visually see it too. Lightning will spark off you. It rinses off eventually. Everything has a tell that I've ever seen. Because a lot of people thought it was. That one's subtle because there's so much lightning blowing everything up all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say everything. I mean, you are in the water, so seeing lightning. But we had to end up we ended up having to look at that. That we had to stay in it for like 6, 7, whatever seconds. So
right, well, hold on.
Yeah.
So, to your credit, before one of the things about that, based on that theory, if someone says you're afflicted by electrical charge, I would strongly suggest do not submerge yourself in water.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
So from a logistic standpoint, I understand you, Arn. But yes, you do need to rinse off the electricity to then go back up.
That makes a lot of sense. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, but we also had no idea that there were secret bosses in both dungeons. Because usually there are secret bosses in one dungeon, and then you have one dungeon that has the triple hard mode. And at least that's what they'd done. But this time, it's both in both. And we were like, oh, so we missed the first secret boss in Coral Eerie till after we defeated the first boss. And then we're like, and then we found by accident the second secret boss. And we're like, oh, there's secret bosses in this one. And so then we're like, wait, we missed the first one we had to have. And so then we went back and found him. And we're like, wow, that buff would have been nice.
This would have been helpful.
Yeah.
Another thing that is actually Maddie mentioned in chat, so it's something worth bringing up. And I probably because of how you had mentioned that you guys were doing that fight, Maddie mentioned that they outlasted, like they didn't actually dive back in. We stopped doing that as well. You don't need to kill the crap ads, you just need to kill the electric spider.
Oh.
And wait,
the Yagras don't matter.
No, yeah, okay, but it doesn't. When you kill the lightning spider, it still doesn't rinse off, does it? You still have to get to the other one.
Right. So you dive in to get to the other ones. You will rinse off automatically by the time you reach the next one. There's no reason to submerge, unsubmerge. Like you just go one platform. By the time you get to the next one,
yeah, but eventually you have to jump into. Well, correct. It doesn't rinse off if you get up right at the next one, though.
So that's why
you have to kind of like time
that's
it.
Why
so
that's why each one has 2 portals. There's one at the front, one at the back. So what we ended up doing is I, as the tank, go back to the far back part of our water platform. I jump in. I use the first one because I'm already puncturing by the time the DPS have gotten to the second one. So they come up, they're rinsed. Yeah. I've already got aggro of everything.
Yeah, that's what we did as well.
Theoretically,
like,
if you do that
jumping points.
And you don't know that you have a lightning debuff, you could theoretically just do that, do it correctly, and not realize why you're doing it correctly.
Yeah, the problem with us was, I mean, we had enough DPS to kill the lightning spider, but we didn't know we had to stay in the water for a certain period of time. So what we did was we jumped at the closest position to the next platform and then jumped back out at the first possible chance. So we still had our like whatever stacks lightning, and it would at some point one-shot me through my block. And I'm like, there's no way this is a healing check. We are doing something wrong, because no mechanic should one-shot me while I'm blocking and is not avoidable. That doesn't make any sense. That has to be dealing 150k pure damage every 1 second, and there's no way we are doing this right if this is the case. But yeah, we were just going like the shortest route, which doesn't cleanse you fast enough, and we had to look that up, and I was like, okay, well, we got the idea right, blind. We just didn't get the timing right, blind. So, but yeah, overall, I like that fight. I don't like the spiders that come up to you and blow up, but I like the fight.
I thought it was interesting that they put like the little icon over your head now to show you that you're kiting that. Like, yes, I like that.
Really, that is a great feature because that is much more apparent, and I like that a lot.
I freaked out the first time it happened because I didn't know what it was. I was like, what is this? And then I was like, oh, they changed it. I like that.
That is much better. Good job on that one, because it makes it very apparent when something's targeting you.
Yeah, it's not like some of the other dungeons where you get like a very low visible circle under your feet and you have to like, oh yeah, among all of these 7 billion effects, I have to see that specific thing and start running.
I have a small black mist on me. I guess that means something.
But yeah, that fight is definitely a fun one. At least until you understand what you are supposed to do and how to rinse the thing off. But then comes the second fight. Yeah, then comes the second.
Which one? Okay, here's where I was confused. Which one is technically the second fight?
The Nightblade.
So, yeah.
Oh,
the jumpy one.
Okay. I have no idea what the mechanics are on that one. I'm not going to lie to you. We literally ran around in circles, dodging things, and just killed her. Like, granted, we weren't on hard mode because we weren't able to get the hard mode in the first one because we were just like, we just wanted to get through it and find the secrets and stuff because it was getting late by that time.
Yeah, so there was the secret boss. There's several secret bosses along the way, which I do like that they make you mine out parts of the coral cave to like get to. I thought that was a neat little touch. But yeah, then there's the gymnast boss, the gymnast Nightblade.
Yeah.
Somebody explain the mechanics to me because I don't understand it.
I don't know. We got it down to 20% or like 18% something on hard mode. It's just so much going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
So there totally is. There totally is.
I don't know what to do.
I was joking that they jammed the entirety of Vass +2 into one boss because it's all about kiting the direction of her daggers.
Okay.
So we started to get it so that we had our own little paths and we were doing dagger formations so that they would like kite in lines. Then she spawns 10 billion ads. Which you just have to bash all the ads. But then there's the other ads that aren't like, they're not shadows. They're like literal ads. So you have to chain those in and kill them or everybody just punches them. There are these 2 infinitely spawning mages on both sides, which you basically bash or they drop this giant electric AoE that just takes up a chunk of the field. Then at another point, it drops in one of those big Dragon Knight, I don't know, I guess it's probably a Senshei, right, dude? But so you got to get rid of that. The fight itself is super chaotic. You are correct. I like the fight. It's very it's pretty cool. It really reminded me a lot of the way you kite in Vass. However, the fight is too fucking long. There's too many repetitive you do the same thing over and over and over, and it's like she just becomes out of the field, so you can't progress the fight. That fight, I like it. It needs to literally be cut in half. Not do this phase, then do this phase, then do this phase. And then she's back, and you fight her for a while, and then you do this phase, and you do this phase. One time. Repeating that twice is too long, it's too much, it's too tedious for me. I liked it, but it just felt stretched out because you couldn't fight her for so much of the fight.
It's an endurance fight. Like
it really is, because that's really my only gripe with the fight, because I think it's very cool, but it's just like this just keeps going.
It's a very chaotic fight, which I like. Like I love chaotic fights where a lot is happening. But the problem is, by the time we stopped fighting it, like we called it a night, my eyes were hurting and my brain was much because it throws so much information at you constantly. you have to keep track of so many things all the time. And once again, everything is semi-transparent. Thus, I do not understand this.
Yeah.
Why do you keep giving me semi-transparent enemies to fight that I can't see?
Yeah.
What is
the
why?
shades? Yeah, the
The shades. The Moongrave Fane was like that. This is like
with
that.
the homunculus,
The Red Cellar was... just stop with the semi-transparency and let me see things. I can't even see my own character because I use Green Dragon Blood.
Green Dragon.
To me, my character does not exist because I don't see it. Amongst everything, the enemy is semi-transparent. I am semi-transparent. The ground is black. My character is black. The enemy is black. What am I supposed to see? And then I'm like, I'm trying to move, and I'm like, oh, I can't move. I try to see, like, because I don't see any visual feedback from my character. Something hits me and I'm dead. I'm like, oh, I must be crowd controlled, but I don't see
there's
it.
There's a lot of frost roots, but it's in and around all the daggers flying everywhere. And then one of the mages, if it tethers to you, it puts a slow effect on you until somebody bashes it. So it's like there's that too. It's like...
And it's, as the DLC in chat says, we know Ark is great for that ancient. I mean, I'm... so the entire fight, I'm like, my eyes are open, and I'm focused on the screen, trying to just process as much of this as I can, so I can just dodge and chain and taunt and bash and run. And then the boss comes back to the field. Someone is like, the boss is on me. I look around, everything looks the same. So I don't know which one's the boss. It's like, I'm just going through everything to find the boss so I can taunt it.
I'm not gonna lie. I lost the boss quite a few times in that one because I would think one of the shades was the boss.
Yeah.
So I would be like trying to get I was like, no, I think I got it. And somebody runs by me. They're like, boss on me, boss on me. I was like, oh, that's the boss. I got it.
Okay, I really like in that fight because that's like, I think that's when it first brings it are the little orby things from the tendrils. The plinking sound it makes when you pick them up is so gratifying. I really
so glad
like
you brought that up. So like the secret
I don't understand it.
So if you read like the secret bonuses for each secret boss you kill, you'll get this bonus added on. And basically periodically these tentacles will pop out and start like whipping around the field. And then little orbs will pop up around the field as well, and you can activate them. And I agree with Doc. It is the most satisfying, like, just...
It's a great sound!
It's such a good sound. It's so gratifying.
I don't know the sound, and I don't know how they are supposed to be pronounced, but I've been calling them globals. And my entire purpose in Coral Airy has been collecting globals. I don't know how they're pronounced, but I love them so much, and I just go after globals.
Globals.
I'm all about this.
I'm gonna call that now.
Yep, globals it is. I'm all about it.
I leave the boss in the middle of the fights and just go like global.
Yes, and it's just the sound is just this metallic clank thing. Oh, it's so good. And when they're floating around you, they can like soak a shot and stuff like
Apparently
that.
Apparently they can, like, if you have 3 of them, that's like 99% damage mitigation.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't know that. I was just collecting them because globals.
Yeah, exactly. I had no idea what they did. I was just like, I must collect them all.
But yeah, they I don't know what the tentacles do. I don't know how much damage they do. Are they useful at all? Like, what do...
The tentacles are what trigger your globals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
you do the synergy, and then the globals come out, and
they'll start popping up around you. Yeah.
I wish they at least did like crowd control or something. I don't know. It's a little bit more useful.
Yeah, like they're whipping people. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah. I mean, whenever there's a tentacle in the game that whips us, we get knocked back or something like that happens. They either silence us, do something, I don't know. So I was hoping more, but I don't care because I got globals.
So my friend who does the dungeons with us, he's our tank, and he's a warden tank, and he's a jerk because he does, what is that warden skill that you cast it on the ground, right? And then if one of your friends activates the synergy, they get zipped over across the room or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, the portals.
Like something escape or whatever.
Winter
Frozen
escape
or something. Winter's escape. Yeah. So he does it on purpose because he knows how much I love my synergies. And so he will pop them in random places so with Coral Eerie, because I love those globals and everything, like he'll throw it on the ground, and so I'll do it. And because I'm not thinking about the synergies. I just see a synergy. I'm like, oh, and so I go do it, and I'm zipping across the room like, dang it! I got so mad, and he'd do it constantly. I'm like, you're such a jerk. But yeah, and so it's kind of like it's like an ongoing joke now. Now he just does it to mess with our team, like constantly. Like we might be in like a very serious boss fight, and then all of a sudden you get zipped right in front of the boss, and you're like,
surprise!
Now I kind of want to switch to my warden tank just to do that to our
to
team.
Teleport people.
Such a troll.
So put it right in the middle of an AOE.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if you can do that in the slaughterfish in the final boss, because there's slaughterfish in the water, and if you could just teleport them into slaughterfish. Oh, I like this idea.
So, all right, so that brings me to two things, because this Tales I feel like is going to be way more unstructured, as we're all just going to chime in together. It seems like so before we move past that oddly specific story relates to something that happened outside the dungeons. So I was doing the event and I was on a random alt. So I was in Alinor because it was the last time I logged in. It turned out it was last year's Jester's Festival. It was the last time I logged in because I still had the pie active from last year on this character.
Oh, wow.
So I start running up and there's a synergy right next to the Alinor Way Shrine. And I'm like, what the? So I use it because of course I do. And I get teleported on top of the Alinor Castle. Like I am on the peak, and there are 6 people up there playing instruments, and there is one person who is dropping this warden portal down and just letting people port up. I have no idea how he got there, but they started a literal band on top of the roof. Like we were on like the pinnacle spire. It was so high up, you died from fall damage jumping off it. Like, I don't know how they got up there, but it was so entertaining. And it was he was literally just collecting people, and they would come up, and then people would just start playing instruments until they jumped to their inevitable doom.
Amazing.
That's my favorite, those are my favorite MMO moments. Like, that's when I feel like I am playing an MMORPG with other people.
It was super funny. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that because that oddly related to that very specific skill. The other thing that was a little awkward was the slaughterfish you mentioned for the last fight.
Yes.
Yeah, so because we were trying to figure out everything, we were like, I wonder, there's this crappy little island over to the side, like where you start. I was like, do the waves hit over there? And we had died to slaughterfish trying to escape crap a couple times. And one of our teammates is a Sork, and he's like, well, if anybody can get there, I can Sork streak there.
Oh.
And the game doesn't like that because he's Sork streaked there, and he's like, why is my screen black? Why is my screen black? What's going on? And it just dropped him dead back in the field. He was like, well, that's just mean.
Denied.
You baited, son.
Yeah, it insultingly will kill you while rejoining you in progress.
Oh my gosh.
So he's like, all right, so that does not work. So don't try to cheese it by going back to that island.
Hold on, guys. Say hi. You can say hi real quick.
Hi. we have
That's Little Doc.
Little Doc has joined us.
I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, no worries. So what's your opinion on the final fight? Have you done the final fight hard mode?
No, we haven't gotten there on hard mode, so I don't know. But because, as I said, we have the problem we ran into when we got back into it is that so Luna has been doing trials, but other than that, we haven't been playing much. Kitsu has been like playing Destiny. I've been playing Destiny. You know, I haven't been doing anything but dungeons in Elder Scrolls Online for a long time. And we haven't really done anything since the last DLC dungeon. And we got those hard modes together. So we are very rusty as a group. Everyone individually, like Kitsu and Jen still deals massive DPS. Luna still does massive healing. I still pump ultimate like it's, I don't know, free lemonade. It's... But, so veteran fights last so short that we don't see mechanics most of the time. Or we don't understand them because we just, it just goes by. But when we switch to hard mode... The fact that we are very rusty in the game starts showing up because we are making, especially I am making, because I played least, I think, is it just becomes apparent. Like, I forget to dodge, I forget to block a heavy attack, I forgot sprinting, as I mentioned at some point, that I forgot I could even sprint in the game at some point.
Amazing.
So, yeah, hard modes have been rougher than usual, and we only have like 1 day a week that we can play together as a group. And that is very limited as well because I get off work like late and then we have like maybe a couple hours to play. So we don't have much time to practice either. So yeah, it's been going slow. So I didn't see the last final hard mode, or rather the hard modes other than the second boss fight of Corollary yet.
Okay. So I've done not hard mode because we didn't end up clearing it the first night on stream because we had a very, very long stream while we were trying to figure this stuff out. So actually, to everybody who hung out with us during that, a lot of people said that it was entertaining to watch us figure it out. I'm very glad. What is it? Code was just helpful enough to, if we were totally stumped, give us just enough of a clue that we figured it out, which I super appreciated because Code didn't ruin anything, Code being from Code's combat alerts. So like that was perfect. So one of the mechanics I'm very curious if you know about, because it really comes into play for the hard mode, but it's not as much for regular vet, because on regular vet, my DPS were just like, super frustrated because we got to execute a couple times and it's so much, there's so much health on everything. But out of frustration, we're like, all right, we can't do this all night. So let's just we'll finish this up. We've been at this for like a couple hours type of thing. And they were like, all right, cool. I hope you like all the Griffins at once. So they just wailed on them. So all three landed at the same time. And I was like, well, this is most unpleasant. But so on hard mode, the Griffins also get a lot of mechanics to them. Every one has its own independent mechanics, which is rough. But the thing I wanted to specifically mention, because it's a tank thing, and we were trying to figure it out, and Code eventually clued us in, so that's why I wanted to shout out Code specifically. Every now and then, there would be this giant sonic boom that would happen, and it would just chuck people in all directions, like into Slaughterfish water. And it really was inconvenient. And we were like, what is up with this? This is so frustrating. And Code's like, and we were like, okay, so maybe what it is maybe it's when he's doing a certain thing or something. So I'm trying to watch his animations. And Code's like, you're almost there, but I won't spoil it unless you really want me to. So we tried for a few more minutes, and I'm like, what am I missing? Like, I feel like there's a tell here. And he's like, not a tell, it's the move itself. If you dodge his heavy attack, it blows up the map. You have to face tank it.
Oh, that's why that almost never happened to me, because I never dodge. I just get hit.
So a lot of the rest of the arena,
I knew my tanking style would become the meta one day.
So the problem was the first boss fight with the whirlpool thing. Her heavy attack, she charges up both her claws and strikes. If you dodge both of those, you don't get the dot on you. Like
I just get the dot.
Yeah, you can just bypass that entirely. Like if you don't, so I'm like, oh, I won't even get this dot. I'll just hang out. So I'm thinking like, oh, they're trying to encourage us to dodge more. And the second fight's so much about mobilities. I'm like, oh, they're trying to get me to move around and not just face tank so much. And then the final fight, they're like, yeah, so all that dodging crap, face tank it. It's like you son of a. So yeah, so that's why the problem that we were running into was sometimes if I had a Griffin or two on me, and then there were the like wave mechanics like that cut off there, these just tidal waves that go across in these strips on the arena, I would be in the middle of one. I was like, I have to get over to that one. So I would dodge roll over to it to reach it in time. And he would swing and miss and throw everybody all over the place. So we had to start yelling out, like, if I were to miss, I would be like, block. And like, so everybody would like know to block. And we had a couple situations because it actually isn't that heavy of a heavy attack. Like, it doesn't really hurt that much. We had a couple situations where one of the DPSs literally like baseball slid in because I had too many things that I was trying to control, and they would soak the heavy attack just so it would clank off something and not throw everything.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was just like, it was very, very cool. And yes, I was going to say, Maddie brought up, one of the jokes is, that is the ultimate tank troll. If people are giving you crap, oh yeah, make me not dodge.
So wait, how hard does that heavy attack hit on hard mode?
Still not that hard. It's
okay.
His heavy attack. It honestly, I don't even pay attention to it. I just make sure that I'm near it. Like if I have no health, I'm just like, whatever, I'll hold this. It's everything else that I'm concerned about. So I believe on regular vet, there's like one wave. It's a hex pattern of waves on hard mode. There's the mind tether thing, which I don't know. Is that on vet, where you link minds to somebody and this beam forms?
I don't remember it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember that.
So that was a big situation that took us a while to figure out. It is entirely different than anything in any other dungeon.
Okay.
It's very reminiscent of, it's basically an inverse version of the Halls of Fabrication. So
I didn't
what
even
it
do
is,
Halls of Fabrication.
Oh boy. So what it is every now and then you get these like little swirling things around you, and you're getting like this mind warp thing, which is rough if you don't have a healer because it does like 6k damage a second.
Ooh.
And our healer, like when we were goofing around without having a healer, they're just like, this cannot be done. Like this is just too abusive. Like they were even trying to shield up in them. They're like, nope, we have, like, this hurts too much for us to not have a healer in this. Like we would need to structure how we're doing this if we were to try to do this without a healer, which kudos is a creative way of making us use healers. Good job.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But what the deal was is you will get this mind link thing where two people, you'll get this glowy purple thing. He'll put his arm up in the air, the main boss, and he'll be like, you know, your fates are intertwined or something like that. So he calls it out too. And two people will link with this giant purple beam. You can stretch the beam as far as you would like in any direction. That's fine. If the beam breaks, you are both deleted from the game. Immediate instant death, whatever.
What?
So you need to stay by each other, and it's random who it picks. Random, quote unquote. There is zero chance that 98% of the time it's me if it's fucking random. But I digress. But the thing is, while you're linked, the big thing is you need to have a lot of situational awareness, because if a DPS were to cross in front of it, it severs the link. So it deletes both of you and does 50k damage to the person who severed the link. So it deletes 3 people at the same time.
Oopsies.
Okay, that's rough.
And I was like, this is so different from anything else. In Halls of Fabrication, you keep these two little Roboraptors separate.
Yep.
If they get too close together, they form a link. You then can use that link to break a shield on these Dwarven Centurions. That's the time I've seen the link. Okay. So at first we were thinking like, oh, we got to stay close to. Then we realized we can stretch it. Like we were doing like, but then by the time we were clearing the hard mode, we had people like, okay, healer coming in, so the healer would swoop in and the DPS would go up and around so that they wouldn't have to cut the link. But then comes the problem of, okay, are there wave mechanics at the same time? Because we're like, okay, healer coming in, waves coming onto the outside, so we have to like cut in while the waves go by, but you can't be in the wave. And then there's like the birds are coming in, which for the hard mode Griffins, I don't know if you really dealt much with the Griffins. You probably just nuked them, would be my guess.
I just magma shelled in the middle and basically just the fight ended.
Yeah, that's pretty much. So the Griffins each have an effect on hard mode. Shout out to my lack of reading comprehension, which people pointed out in chat during the stream because we were trying to learn their names. But we realized that 2 of the Griffins are crap and we don't care about them. They're just garbage. We can just kill them off. One of the Griffins, Iliata, is a nightmare creature.
Yeah.
Okay.
Iliata has a lightning bolt kite that will just strike. And then it rears up and goes ree or whatever, and straw sound, like whatever skronky sound that thing makes. And it drops a giant AoE puddle that's 1/4 of the arena, and it seems to follow one person. No idea who. It just picks a random person and it will kite around. And it is just fucking in the way. Just like all. And if you're
and
in
you
it,
can't see it.
This is my problem.
Yep.
It is not a damage AoE. It does not show up in your like visuals.
Nope.
So wait, is it like the blue AoEs in Lair of Marcelok in that fight with the tree?
Bingo! It is that, except it's moving around the arena this time.
Yep. And it's massive. I mean, it literally takes up almost the whole thing. Like, there's a very small area that you can actually.
Is this on hard mode? Is this on just hard mode?
No, it's also on just regular vet.
Oh,
like, that's because we didn't even do hard mode, and I'm pretty situationally aware of like what's going on the ground, and I continually kept dying to this stupid thing because it would not show. Yeah, and I was like, what? And until after the fact, like once I was dead, then it would show. And then it'd be like, what the heck? Like, this was not here like a second ago.
So I think we did that fight twice, like not without hard mode. And I had no idea that was a thing at all. That I didn't even see, like either that mechanic never triggered or my brain never even registered it. It's...
So I'm just curious if it's a bug or if it actually this is how it was designed. That's my question.
My problem is, and they've changed it so it shows up as an AoE of damage in Lair of Marcelok. There is no reason that if you have AoE colors on and there is a damage AoE, that it somehow is exempt from showing up as bright pink or whatever color you
That's
would
why
like
I'm
it to
curious if it's a bug, because maybe it's supposed to show the AoE color.
And I'm sure there's an add-on or something that you can do to make...
That's only for its console players!
Yeah, well, also... this will probably be one of the meanest things I've said in a while. The game shouldn't be designed around sources that are not part of the game. So that's a garbage response, and I don't care if there's actually like some way to do it outside of game. It should work inside of game. Now, it is sort of visible, like it's not invisible, so to speak, but it's like this very pale blue lightning effect on the ground. And the problem that we ran into a lot was when we would get the waves coming across the arena at the same time as that. We had several points where people were like, like before we would die. So it's one of those things where it's not like, oh, I died, let me explain why I died. We would see the waves, like, because it gives you a little prep, like here where the waves are going to be so you can get into position. And we had several people being like, I cannot see the AoE. Where is it? Like, I'm staring at the map. Like, where do I go? And they would walk into one AoE out of another AoE and die. And they're like, I mean, I walked into it because I physically cannot see it right now. This is like, this sucks.
Elder Scrolls Online's visual design has massive problems. It is definitely one of the least accessible games on the market at the moment.
I do know it has some of my friends with color blindness really struggle.
Like, sure.
They really struggle.
Even without color blindness, the game's visibility, especially in fights like that, is intense low. Even if you disable like LI effects and change the colors of your AoEs and everything, the game is very low visibility because they have a tendency to like they do this in multiple dungeons. The background color that like the environment colors that they use and the enemy colors that they use generally match, as well as the effects. They have a color palette that they use, and they just slap it on everything, which creates, for example, Lair of Marsalok, blue environment, blue AoE, Moongrave Fane, red environment, red enemy, Red Cellar, reddish, blackish environment, red-black, bacon waves.
And don't get me
dark
wrong,
environment, dark Nightblade enemy. So, like the enemy, the foreground and the background match way too often in Elder Scrolls Online. So it's a
and it's one of the things. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not colorblind, but anybody who's seen me on stream or whatever, I have glasses. I have absolutely abhorrent vision, like actual vision. Like it's like I am like legally blind without glasses, so like my vision is about as bad as it can physically get. And I like all the effects, don't get me wrong. I think it looks really cool. Like, it's really flashy. The game is gorgeous.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
But I really do have a problem with faux difficult mechanics like, you have AoE colors on, and I set them to a horrifically obnoxious pink so that I will see them. And then this damage ability just is exempt from this. I don't like that. That feels incredibly cheap to me. So hopefully, like Doc said, hopefully it's like this should be procking this, and it's not, because Lair of Marsalok was fixed. I don't know if it was originally intended, but like I really don't like that, because it seems like just a kind of a crappy way of making something harder on something that is legitimately a really solid challenge as is. Like it is no joke. Like that hard mode is. This being said, I love that hard mode. That actually might be one of my favorite fights. It's really RNG heavy, which is usually a turnoff for me, but it is goofy fun. And I really like the tidal wave mechanic type of thing and like all the other crap. The other thing that is different, since I guess both of you have done like Vet a couple times or whatever, and it was the point where we first got to Execute, and chat in general was just like, welcome to Execute, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Hard mode has its own thing for Execute.
I don't remember what happens in Execute.
That's because it's not in anything but hard mode. It's got its own Execute. In which the boss becomes invincible. A fourth Griffin enters the arena with 7 million more hit points.
Oh gosh.
A giant water spire takes off in the middle and dumps AoEs in a lightning cone in all directions for the rest of the fight.
You know what the problem is? I have like 2 hours a session of playtime these days. Like I get off work, I come home, I get some food, dump my brain garbage from the day, and then I have like 2 hours. And with bosses having this much health as they have in Corollary, with multiple invulnerability phases, it's gonna take us a while to clear all those hard modes, man.
All I can think of is trying to fathom how to do this in 25 minutes for the speed run is mind-boggling.
Wait, is it still 25 minutes?
It's 25 minutes. It is a 25-minute speed run.
Dude, just like swirling in flushing in the toilet mechanic takes like 3 minutes on its own.
That's a slow one. And all I can think of, which is kind of why the second fight, you literally can't kill them. Like we had points where we got so efficient at killing the ads. We were like, just kiting around daggers, but we had nothing else to do. I'm like, there's no way to make this go faster. This is just needing to be slow. I was like, this is horrifying. But yeah, so like on that final fight,
I feel like that should at least be 35 minutes.
So the boss itself has, I believe, people can correct me if I'm a little off on the values, but the boss has like 14 0.7 million hit points, I believe, the main boss for the final hard mode. Each of the Griffins has like 2 point something. We'll say 2.5. I think it's a little more than that, but whatever. We'll say that, we'll just say they have 2 million. We'll round down. We'll say they have 2 million. So that's 1, 2, 3. So that would be 6. So we are up to 20.7 million hit points right now. Then you have the final one that shows up, which is straight up, you have to kill it, even if you want to dodge the other ones and be like, oh, I'll just finish the fight without them. Yeah, good luck with them. Well, the other two maybe, but not Ilyata. That's 7 million more. So let's see, we're at 20.7. That puts the boss fight at around 21 million hit points just for the final boss fight.
I got the calculator up. I'm gonna trust.
Like what? But yeah, and then the other bosses have their own little thing. One of the bosses does that inverse shield that happens from Moongrave Fane, where you get like that gray bar where you have to heal out of it in order to be able to heal yourself again. So that's I don't know, Othello. Everybody can enjoy my terrible attempt at saying the Griffin names. We'll go with Othello is the Griffin that does that. And then the one that everybody made fun of me about because I was like listening to them, not reading their names. And I actually don't know what his real name is, but there's another one. And he just kind of does this like wind bleed effect. And it's just there's 2 whirlwinds that are out. And it sounded like he was yelling Rikamaru. And I'm like, oh, okay, so it's Rikamaru's coming into the battle. And it has like no letters like that. It doesn't even start with an R. It's not even close.
So that is forever what he is known as now, guys.
So his name is now Rikamaru. I have no idea what that Griffin is actually called. But chat was like, that's not even in the ballpark of that one.
Not even a name.
And I'm like, it's fine. It's whatever. But yeah, so like it was it's super fun. I really love that boss fight. But yeah, it is an intense hard mode. And then you guys got to find out about Zabaja, who we made reference to earlier.
The bootleg Cloud Rest.
Bootleg Cloud Rest, which is funny because on stream we found all the secrets going up to the boss. Totally missed the boss on stream. We completed the quest. We were like, yeah, that was a really cool dungeon. Signed out, didn't think of it. The following day, we logged in and was like, is there a portal next to the person that we just completed the next to? We walked through and it was like,
sure is.
It looks like we get to throat punch Zabaza. Sloats have throats. I don't even know. But yeah, so then there's that one. But yeah, I really like Corollary, but it is
long.
And I've been saying, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, everything gets adjusted with time.
Yeah.
And shout out to, I believe it's I think Nephis was on the team, Elias. I don't know the other people that were on the team, but there is somebody who has the Perfecta in there already, like on PC. So it's clearly doable. I don't want to.
Some people are at a different level in this game. I mean,
sure. But yeah, so like it's definitely like not impossible. But I feel like, at least in my just so far, as much as I like that dungeon, I feel like this could be, or at least the way it feels to me, this feels like, and maybe this is what they're going for, one of the most overtuned dungeons that's ever been released.
I gotta say, so far, I don't feel worse than Stone Garden, to be honest.
Yeah, see, this one to me...
But I haven't seen the final fight.
Because it's just so long. And it's totally... Yeah. It's doable and stuff like that. So I'm not trying to say that, but it's just like... It seems like... But it's a better tiering, because like Vet is much more manageable, whereas Vet Hard Mode is a much better challenge, which is cool. It's a little bit of a stair-step thing. But I don't know, it feels like the majority of people who can normally do hard modes will have a very brutal experience in this one, just compared to some of the others, because Stone Garden previously was very, very difficult and stuff like that. And it's been scaled back over time a little bit. It's still, but this one just feels like, it makes me think of like when people were talking about like Frostvault and stuff like that. It's like, oh, that Guardian boss, like, I know that was a sticking point for the longest time, and they changed that really extremely. I'm curious how long before this place will be adjusted, because unlike Shipwright, which I haven't done all the hard modes on because we haven't had time to go screw around with it past the first hard mode, they don't even feel in the same league of difficulty.
Oh.
Like Shipwright is objectively nothing comparatively to me compared to Corollary. It's granted, we were doing it like idiots. Like, who needs a healer just because we don't have one available? And then when we used a healer, it's like, this is much more manageable. But like, it just seems like the difficulty is very, very tilted to Corollary, even though I think Corollary is a really cool and creative dungeon. I just think it'll be, I don't know, it's, to me, seems like it's going to smack people for a long time, which maybe that's just what they're going for.
I like that, though. Like, because not all content should be doable by the 100% of the player base. It should be achievable, of course, but if you have to give, because there are some, as I said, there are some really high tier players in Elder Scrolls Online, and you gotta give them something to work towards. That means smacking everyone who is not in that tier to bits, because that's just the only way. That's why we have like the normal, veteran, and hard mode. And at the moment, Corollary is smacking the hell out of us, of our group, even though we have every hard mode dungeon in the game. Corollary, which is, I mean, we only got to try it like twice so far, but it's rough. Like, we are going through it at the same level that we did with Stone Garden, I think. I haven't seen the final fight, and I feel like Stone Garden's final fight will be worse. But it's like, you gotta have that extra bit of challenge at every turn of the game so that you keep every level of player entertained. That's why, normal, veteran, hard mode. If the hard mode on Corollary was same as, let's say, I don't know, Falkreath Hold, right? Sure. We would have done it on the first day, and we would have nothing to work towards until the next dungeon DLC. That would have been it.
Totally agree. So and that's why I don't want to like come across like, oh, these are too difficult to be done or anything like that. It just seems like I'm curious how much of the community that is used to doing the hard modes will find this one okay, because actually the reason I mentioned this is like one of my Discord groups, which is like a guild designed around like clearing 4-person stuff, and it's where that was the place I got the idea for. Like I heard the first title of Perfecta instead of Trifecta, for it's like, oh, you do them all at once type of deal. The amount of people posting clears compared to literally every other DLC, there's like 8 of us total in the guild posting these, and nobody else is clearing them, and I'm like, that's different than usual. Like, yeah. Which is good because, like you said, for longevity reasons. It's just I'm curious in the long term, how, like, is that the intent? Because one of the things, once you know the second boss, that we'll just call it the gymnast boss because I don't remember her name, that fight, once you know what to do, isn't actually that hard. But there's no way to do it really that fast unless it's a strat I've not seen yet, because it's just like, she's just not in the field. Like, there's no way to speed it up. It's just like, dodge around for a while. Kill these. Oh, the ads are dead. Okay, continue to kite around. It's like, okay, what? just bring her back. Like, we
it's an endurance fight that waits for you to make a mistake and why. It's like watching NASCAR. It's just...
Don't doze off and hit a guardrail.
It's fun for the first, like, 4 laps maybe, but then it goes on for the next 4 days, the same route. It's like, eventually someone makes a mistake and everything blows up, so...
I do want to say something that's going to be happy for some people. It's kind of sad for me. But one of the things about Coral Eerie that I completely forgot about when I was in there, and y'all, you guys get to pet the baby griffins.
You do get to pet the baby griffins.
So I've heard.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up. I forgot. I even saw all the baby griffins when we were running through. I was like, oh my God, look at all the baby griffins. They're so cute. And then we ran right through. And then I forgot and was reminded and was like, wait, you can pet the baby griffins? And then I was like, oh, I remember hearing about that. And I totally did it.
Yep.
So yeah. So has literally nothing to do with mechanics of the fights at all, but I just thought I'd throw that. I did forget. Maddie reminded me that I was.
It's a very important mechanic. You for whatever messed up reason, you murder the griffin parents in an adpole, and then you can pet the baby griffins. And I remember
it is kind of messed up.
The stork on our team was very annoyed because he wasn't getting the pet the baby griffin animation. And he was like, dude,
yeah, it's like a weird hitbox, apparently, from what people said. It's like this weird hitbox.
And he was putting liquid lightning in front of it so it would come back at him. He was like, come on, I want to pat it. And he's like trying to prevent it from getting away.
You can't kill them, right?
You cannot. The baby
griffins are good because
their parents are extra invincible.
The thing is, the way our group moves through a dungeon is that if something moves, it immediately is blasted to bits by Kitsu because she is bloodthirsty and like it you know, you can just run through mud crabs, right? In Corollary. No, we fight everything because Kitsu just, if something moves, a fireball just flies towards it before I can even react.
All right.
So that's why I asked, because I was like, did we kill them?
So on that theory, being that our group is called the Thracian Slayers, we're like, this is so useless in here because we're going to be dead so much figuring everything out. We're going to get no stacks of this, so it's constantly going to reset. But they were like, we'll put it on until we die in a boss fight. So they would build up stacks while we were learning it in between. So like on all the ads, and then we would start the boss fight with it, and then it would be useless while we were trying to figure it out because it would eventually wipe. But it turns out you can build stacks off the crabs. So both of our DPS were like, kill the crabs! And they're like nuking all the crabs to build their Thracians.
I wonder if Kitsu uses Thracian and that's why she just murders everything.
Just never-ending bloodthirst.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I guess we might as well discuss shipwright since we are.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't like shipwright for only one reason. I kept falling through the cracks in the wood into the sea. That's my whole dungeon experience.
It's so
I was totally gonna bring up that too. Yeah, I did too. I did too. Yeah.
Did you guys find the parts of the water that has slaughterfish?
Oh, yep.
Yeah. The first thing we did, we were like, oh, I wonder how far. Nope, that's too far. Because we didn't see somebody go dead in the water. Like, they're done for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the hardest part of that speed run is going to not be falling through.
Yeah, you need to know exactly where you're running.
Yep.
We tried the hard mode. Like I said, like we were like, let's see what the hard mode is and see if we can figure out the mechanics, because we went in both completely blind, didn't know anything. And we went 2 days after it launched just because our schedules wouldn't match up. So we didn't look up anything. We went in there. So we're like, all right, this mechanic, that mechanic. So we did the first boss and did the hard mode. He made it to execute like, I don't know, 3 times. And finally we're just like, you know what? We're just gonna turn off the hard mode. Like, because well, the first time one of the guys, he was messing with us. We had turned on the hard mode, and at the very last second, he turned the hard mode off, and we didn't know until we literally had the boss down to like 3%. And then they was like, oh, hey, you know, we didn't do hard mode. I was like, what? Everybody died right now.
Wipe.
Amazing.
It was so bad. I was like, dang it. So we had to redo the whole thing. And then our mojo was completely thrown off. But it was hilarious. It was really fun. The mechanic, I hate those ghost things, but the mechanic that literally killed us, but it was hilarious, is the sharing is caring. Just don't share too much, is what we found out. Is there's this thing where I think it's after the boss on hard mode hits 50%, maybe, I can't remember, but the percentage. But there's this part where this thing, one of your teammates gets lit up with this like this kind of like Sororious thing, where something's around your feet.
Yep.
And you're not burning, but it lights up and you need somebody to take the hit with you. Yes. So we automatically like, everybody get in the circle now. And so we did, and we all exploded. Yep. And so we were like,
we did the same thing.
And then we were like, okay. But the first time we tried it, it was just like one person that was in the circle with me, and that was fine. So we're like, maybe we can't share too much. And so we did just one buddy. And then we were like, oh, okay, cool. And so we're like, all right, we figured that out. But when you get to execute, they throw all the flame shapers at you.
Which I don't like because I can't change them. They're too far away.
Yeah.
It's too big.
We thought one was a pain in the butt because if you do not interrupt those flame shapers, they hurt you. And then out of the blue, we were like, hey, we killed the flame shaper. What the heck? There's another one. Wait, there's another one.
Yeah, there's like
20 of them, it seems like.
They come into like all cardinal directions. It's like, oh God, I can't reach all of these with chains.
Yeah, and then they do the sharing is caring to 2 people.
They sure do. So
you
God
have
help
to...
you if you have anybody dead, because that means somebody else is getting yeeted out of his.
Yeah. So it was a fun fight once we figured it out. But at the same time, by that time, we're like, y'all, we don't even know how long this dungeon is. So we want to move through and find the secret bosses and everything. So we turned it off and we went through, and it was a lot of fun. And Casca's in it. I love Casca. I mean, I love Zaji too, but I love Casca. She's always been one of my favorites. So I was so excited. Yep. Yeah, but it's a cool, aesthetically cool looking dungeon. By far one of my more favorites that has come out lately.
Yes, the analogy I've been hearing quite a bit is Pirate March of Sacrifices.
Fair. I just love that pirate theme, man. And I like that it's in Rivenspire because I personally love Rivenspire. So I love that dungeon. I thought it was really cool.
I think it's very cool too. I think the aesthetic is very neat. Similar to you, we bumbled around, and actually what I was saying, we didn't use a healer, not because it was attempting to be a flex. It was just we had 3 DPSs available. So we were like, we'll just do it like this. Holy crap, you cannot screw up anything in that because it's just like incoming damage left and right, and without anybody purging anything off, it's rough. And we got it to 100k left on his health, and we got the double mechanic when there were only 2 of us left.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh, and like Neo and I just looked at each other like, there's no surviving this. So we just ran at each other and just hugged and exploded together.
I was just about to ask. I was like, wait, could you guys like stack it?
No, we tried. we just double blew up. So yeah, wouldn't recommend doing that without a healer, without some practice.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I agree. I think that's a pretty cool fight too. Also, we had trouble figuring out like those like AoEs you have to run from. Sometimes,
yeah.
So like burst out of it. Sometimes they bounce off walls. Sometimes they don't. So we had ones where like we'd all run away from them. They'd hit the walls and they'd come back at us in other directions. It was like, why? It's like
we put it as kind of like the Rock Grove curse mechanic in the second boss, like where because then like once you get hit, then it like bounces off of anybody. Yeah, right. But if you all manage to miss it, then you're good. I didn't never notice if it would bounce off.
We had a couple that were like, did somebody hit it? And nobody could pinpoint. It's like, I didn't hit it. I didn't hit it either. And it's like, nobody could show that they hit it. And all of a sudden they came back at us. We're like, oh God.
I remember a mechanic where I tried to plug like Bloodroot Forge and Scalecaller Peak, the poison and the volcano. I wonder if that was it. I immediately melted. And I was like, wait, this might not be the same idea.
It is not.
We did find that if you get hit with that thing, it doesn't show that you're blocking. But say like you get knocked on the ground and your initial reaction is to like break free, whatever. But if you just hold down block, I don't know if this is an actual mechanic or not, but we were talking about, we're like, oh, that seems to help, is if you hold on block, once you've gotten hit and you're knocked down, it doesn't do near as much damage, and you just like bear through it, and then
what the deal was with that either. Like,
yeah, like you don't break free of it. You just kind of sit in it with you holding down the block button. It doesn't show that you're blocking, but technically, I guess you are, and you just kind of like bear with the pain. It's weird. It's hard to explain unless you've done it, and then you're like, oh, okay. All I know is I was holding that block button, and I noticed that the damage wasn't near as bad then.
Yeah. So the other thing about that one, which was funny because like I didn't want it to sound. I'll get into like later on the slight technical hiccup that has been added to the game in terms of tanking that I'm having a real problem with recently. But during that fight, there were a couple points where I was like, I don't want to sound like I'm just trying to give excuses why things are happening the way they are, because J-Dub was chilling in chat with us for a while, and he was laughing. He's like, this is the funniest shit I've ever seen. He's like, I don't know what is happening with you guys. While we were trying to avoid the things while we were getting the hang of it, what happens if you block and hit jump at the same time?
You roll dodge, right?
You do. You roll dodge.
Yeah, I had to think about that.
What do you mean you roll? Is that a console thing? Okay, I guess that's a console thing.
Wait,
is it a console thing?
No.
I would think so.
Do you
because
have a separate button?
Oh, it is.
I just double tap.
Yes, yeah. It is different for PC. Okay. I had to think about that too. I'm like, wait.
I was so confused when you said like you hold block and jump and you dodge roll, and I'm like,
yeah.
I guess this is a consoles or a controller specific problem then, because
we knew it was coming.
Half that fight, I managed to do this miracle thing where I was jumping while straight up shield blocking and jumping around, and I'm like, that's not programmable. Like, that's not a thing you do in this game. You can't do that.
That's how I move around. This whole I jump and I block.
So that is very.
You never had that?
No, and
what a
you don't
shame.
want that. There's no scenario where that is helpful.
It's
because
fun.
I needed to dodge roll. Except the problem was you don't go as far, so I kept getting clipped by the damn wind things. And I'm like, this is the worst. So like, yeah, I was just like, this is terrible, because I kept trying to dodge roll, and instead I'd put out my shield and I would jump. I'm like, that's not supposed to happen. So I would never make it out of what I was trying to escape from. So then it would scatter the curse wind everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, so
Matty in chat says jump plus blocking equals excited hugging on PC. Yeah, I mean, that was never dodging.
All right, so I guess we've been introduced to excited hugging on console. Great. That's stellar. I don't know how you're supposed to dodge roll anymore, because that used to be our dodge roll command. But
hugging.
I have no clue. Yeah. I mean, I never understood how you got enough things get done on a controller anyway, because there's just not enough buttons on it.
I don't know. I play on PC with a controller too. So now I'm curious.
How do you mount? What's the button?
Just hold your map button.
You have the same button for multiple things? That sucks.
Yeah. Tap your map button, it brings up your map. Hold your map button, and you jump on your map.
Oh God.
I think that's what it is.
Oh,
one of those things that's much more reflexive. Like when you just do it, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I would never be able to keep track of that.
Can you confirm that, Doc? Is that what that is? You hold the center thing, right, to get on your mount? You tap it to bring up your map. You hold it to get...
You hold it to get your mount, yeah.
Yeah,
but what about your...
It's one of those things where I press it so many times.
What about your potion? Your character menu? Your inventory? Your...
Yeah.
Well, inventory you hit start?
Yeah, inventory you hit start.
Yeah.
If you want to do your quick menu, I have an Xbox controller.
Oh, handy. Perfect. There we go.
You hold up on the D-pad, it brings up a wheel, and you just highlight what you want and let go. And then it's highlighted, and you tap up on your D-pad.
We don't have add-ons, and we have to formulate all this in our heads, guys.
Ark's brain is breaking on stream.
I have more buttons on a thruster than that controller. I mean,
Lord.
I have my keyboard, my this. It's like I have voice commands set up for things that I don't want to press.
Nuh-uh. For ESO?
No, not for ESO, but I could set it up for ESO as well.
What?
I could set it up for ESO as well. I could. Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be
My
great.
brain is exploding now.
All I'm picturing is you just being like, yeah, beat Stone Garden hard mode, and it just does it for
Computer, get me true genius.
So there's actually there's a program called Voice Attack, and you can just set up macros for voice commands. Basically, that's it. So you could just say like ultimate, and then it would use the ulti or whatever you want it to do. So
acquire Godslayer.
That reminds me of I don't know if you guys watched the new Jumanji movies. This isn't a tangent. I mean, it's kind of is. But the new Jumanjis it's got The Rock and Kevin Hart and all them, and they're great.
I haven't seen them, but I know what you're talking about.
They're so good. So the first one, The Rock or the kid, like he's a big video game nerd and everything like that. And at the beginning, he's being like, block, parry as he's playing a video game and everything. And then he gets in the game. And his avatar that he plays is like supposed to be like one of the strongest fighters in the game. And as he's fighting all these bad guys, he's like block, parry, punch, and everything. And so that's all I picture Ark doing right now is like block, parry, the whatever time.
Shield bash.
Yeah, I can try to set it up and do like a stream with it or something. I've been wanting to actually do a dungeon with the flight controller, but I haven't been able to set it up yet to work in ESO. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I basically plan on using this to play ESO and do a dungeon, but I don't know how that's gonna work.
Do it.
So far, ESO doesn't recognize it as a controller, so I need to make it recognize it as a controller. So I don't know how that's gonna work though. If anyone knows how to make a Logitech X56 work in Elder Scrolls Online, do let me know. Maybe someone in the community. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I will set up a second camera just for like the controllers.
Yes, that I need to see. What do you call it? So, what the hell we were talking about? Oh, I guess we were on the first boss. Yeah, the other ones are like, I don't know. The middle boss seems much more forgettable in that place.
I
wanted to skip ahead to the last boss, which also seems pretty good. Yeah. There is so much crap going on in that fight.
Yes. Yes.
But one of the things I love the water mechanic thing. The waves that come over the edge of the dock and like roll across. I love that. It looks so cool. Again, though, he floats out to sea and is invincible for a while or whatnot. But yeah, I love that water mechanic type of deal. I thought that was really, really cool in there. I
like seeing the ship sail away.
Yes,
I thought that was so cool. I totally geeked out about that.
Oh yeah,
it's at the beginning when he first shows up. Like he's telling his guys to go, and the ship sails away, and you're like, "Oh,
I didn't pay attention."
Oh my gosh!
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's another one. That place is really neat. And that's why hopefully we can get a chance to jump back in this week, have time to actually go do that hard mode, because like we didn't get through the last ones because we were farming the new gear because I really, really want to try it. And with all the changes to everything, my previous build is not as like I want to adjust it this patch. It doesn't feel as useful. So I'm like, I want to change some stuff up. So we got the Turning Tide set for the Major Brittle or whatever it is. And then that new monster set got that as well.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm trying to figure out what I want to pair it with best. Do I want Yolokrin? Do I want PA? Do I want Sax? Probably not Sax, but something. So we haven't done those because we were farming that. But oh my God, it's so good. It's so good.
I don't know. I want to set up a new build, but at the same time, I'm so used to just spamming ultimates. I don't want to give it up. I think I'm going to use that as long as it works. It's just constant Warhorn, constant Barrier, constant Magma Shell, constant Inferno from the DPS. It's just ultimates all around. It's beautiful.
But yeah, so I guess, is there anything else about the new dungeons we wanted to specifically call out?
I guess not that I can remember. If I hope I get a chance to do them, like try them on hard mode again this week.
Yep.
So I'll have more to talk about again next week, but yeah, not at the moment, I guess.
So I guess that makes me curious. Have you been up to anything else, Ark, since our roundtable tales is covered pretty much?
No, unfortunately not. I mean, Tuesday we got together to do hard modes and my internet completely borked. And on Wednesday we just did a couple random veterans. We did Dreadseller, and then we did the dungeon with the goat. So we were gonna do the hard modes, but I was very tired. Luna was very tired, so we were like, "Yeah, I don't think this is the right mindset to do hard modes in Corollary.
Right.
So let's just chill." So we just chilled, and then since then I haven't played anything. So yeah, I didn't have time.
Yeah, well, hey, whatever. That's fair. This build up to this has been like coming for quite a while, so that's why I figured that would be the majority of what. Were you up to anything else as well, Doc? I'm trying to think. Our normal runs haven't so much happened. Oh, you're muted. Yeah, because our normal things, we've been having organization problems with our trial.
Even today, but but yeah, I'm trying to think. What about? I haven't done anything except for the dungeons, which, like I said, we did those a couple days later. I want to go back in them because I've only done them the one time.
Yep.
And so I want to go back in them and enjoy them. I think the most exciting thing for me was getting that Dread Pirate Roberts thing. I was so excited, guys. You guys have no idea. Waited 7 years for this. And so played that. I've played some more Destiny 2 a little bit here and there, but honestly, my week's been crazy. I had some job interviews and stuff like that.
Yep.
So yeah, so it's been kind of a crazy week because I'm trying to find
the dungeons.
Yeah. So right. Yeah. That's basically it. How about you, Lotus?
So outside, like I said, farming gear and doing our dungeon runs as well, I actually had some extra time this week, which was kind of fun.
Nice.
Would you look at the time? It's been 2 hours.
No.
It's almost 2 a.m. my time. I really need to let's wrap this up.
Daddy, kick Ark out.
You can follow everything we do.
So, let us get to the other thing. When I didn't have team, well, one, I've been on PC off and on as well when I've gotten some time.
Oh yeah, that's what I did.
Oh yeah, didn't we run into each other on PC?
I logged on PC very briefly because I had like this whole thing where I don't know if anybody else had it, where it kept telling me to try to repair my PC thing. So, and I would repair it, and then
people having that, especially with it's kind of
with everything. And I figured that was a thing.
Login problems again.
Yeah. So I ended up uninstalling the entire game and reinstalling, and so I logged in real quickly. But yeah, that was the other thing. I knew there was something else that I had done. I completely forgot, but I've been wanting to play more PC. So if you're on PC, add me. But yeah, that was it. Sorry.
No, that's fine. And that's actually that's just it. It's like, so I've been utilizing the double XP bonus plus the 150% scrolls that we were given right at the start. It's kind of like we're sorry, the servers are blowing up constantly, which has been great because I'm up to 535 CP, I think, on PC now.
Dang.
Yeah, and actually, shout out specifically to a couple people from the Lore Seekers, Grizzly Khan and Murph to Murph. I know you listen to the show because when you asked for a DPS for a pledge, I said, "Do you still need one?" And the response was, "Wait, are you from like the podcast Lotus of Doom?" I was like, "That would be me." So they were super chill, grouped up, and we ran through the pledge, and I needed the helmet from Dire Frost because I want to run Iceheart. And we went through, nuked that on hard mode, and as a result, they gave me their extra one, so I have a choice of which weight I want. I got all 3 in a single run, so huge thank you to them for running with me for that. That was awesome. But yeah, outside the event stuff, that's, been good for farming. But when I didn't have any teammates on, I decided let's run some solo stuff because I'm trying to get better on my DPS, and my DPS, as Ark loves, is Guaranir.
My favorite.
And Guaranir has now got himself a Flawless Conqueror, and I went through and got the Vatashran trifecta, or perfecta, where I got the speedrun, the no death, and the hard mode. And I guess I've been bumped down. We were looking at the leaderboards. It was kind of funny. For VMA this week, I was 4th on the leaderboards for PS4 NA with Guaranir. So
stop getting achievements that I don't have on my mock-up version, man.
And then, because the weekly solo arena is Vatashran, you were 2nd, actually, on PS4 NA. I've recently been bumped down a couple slots. I'm still in the top 10, but I think I might be 7th or 8th now for Vatashran. But I got the Perfecto, which is awesome because I add that to the achievement list. And yeah, so thanks for the new achievement point.
At this point, I'm not going to be known as Arcanir from Tales of Tamriel, but rather, like, oh, are you the Guaranir guy from freaking Lotus's Guaranir character who started making leaderboards? What is this? I don't like this.
There was one part of this joke that I did need to address, though, which I had never accounted for when I made this character. I made this character as a joke, and it was made of all the things you hate. Being on the Elmeri Dominion, being a big fan of Guar. Something I did not account for when actually trying to accomplish stuff and showing up on the leaderboard was it puts that damn AD eagle next to your name on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
So there will be none of that, and you are now going to the EP. I'm Alliance changing
at least.
Because I refuse to put that up on my leaderboard.
I respect.
Anybody sees your name up there, they're like, "Oh, that has to be an imposter."
As soon as I saw it up there, I was like, "Oh no, that can't stand." Like, absolutely not.
I respect that your hatred for AD is more powerful than your desire to troll me. So, yeah, I can live with this.
So you will no longer be part of the AD. Just because I can't bear to see AD symbols on the leaderboard. But yeah, I was pretty excited. Managed to get that out. I love that build that I've been talking about. It's a modified version of the one from Duma Gaming. Yet another shout out to Duma for his very creative 1-bar/immortal builds that he does. And it's kind of built into the thing that I have created, which is really just a slightly altered version of his thing. All credit goes to him for the idea. Look up his stuff, adjust as you see fit. I definitely recommend checking it out. But as for mine, one of the things that I was very pleased at, I was like, well, now I'm fully geared. I've got the skills I want. I was like, I wonder if I can do the time trial, because I was like, I'm not super sure. DPS isn't really my thing. And I managed to, the Vatashran trifecta is 45 minutes to do. And I did it in 32 and change, which I was like, oh, cool. I beat it by a mile. So I started goofing around with other stuff, and I was quite pleased to see that on that build setup, sitting at around 80,000 DPS to start with, and my rotation still sort of kind of sucks because I can't bar swap and not have it lag out, so I just fumble up all my skills like every time. So I feel like this can definitely be like legit for a lot of stuff, and it's fun to play. So that was my major accomplishment outside Griffin Handler, which was beating Corollary hard mode, which is weird because now there are 2 GH titles in the game. There's Griffin Heart and Griffin Handler.
Yeah.
Which is weird because everybody just abbreviates to GH, and now GH means 2 things. So, but yeah, so that was pretty much it for me. And yeah, this has been a nice full show since we finally got to talk about our dungeons.
Yay!
Hopefully we'll get to talk more in the upcoming weeks by, clearing them ever slowly or maybe fast. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll just click at some point. So do you have anything else?
Yeah, no, that's been it for me. That's been because other than ESO, any other minimal game time I've had, because that was a lot of my game time, and I mean that was like a lot of time in general, is I've been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which
I need to check that out.
That game is so good. It's definitely a little glitchy. They're ironing out some of the technical problems, but the crossplay is really cool because it's just straight up crossplay. But the shift servers are a little hiccupy at the moment. So, yeah.
Well, all right, then that brings us towards the end of the show, although for the first time in a while, since we actually mentioned that we have an email account set up properly, that is not just Dungeon Crawler Network, but it's Tales of Tamriel podcast at gmail.com. We do have a community email from Jeff Bagley. It's titled... I'm really sad that this is the email we got in a while. This is the one. It's titled Guarpunzel. It just says the only text in it is nightmare fuel for Ark, and it leads to a Reddit post where someone put a guar up in a tower and made like Rapunzel hair from haystacks.
It's so good.
That's it. That's the whole email, and
it's beautiful.
I'm hurt.
And we appreciate emails like that.
Thank you so very much. Of course, Ark is totally not going to send it to us because we would enjoy it too much.
It's in the show notes.
Oh, is it? Hold on. Did I miss it?
I put it in the show notes. It's under email, 7th section.
Okay.
See?
I didn't see the link.
See?
My bad.
You don't. I might hate it, but I do write that. Okay.
Okay.
Just because I hate some of your emails and some of your iTunes reviews with like Guar love and AD love and things like that doesn't mean I don't put them in the show notes and try to hide them. We read everything. Even if it breaks my...
What you guys don't see in the show notes is it's the tiniest little font ever, and that's why I didn't see it.
It's the same as everything else.
Don't let him trick you.
Wow. I see how it is.
Don't let not only
Guar propaganda, but lies and slender as well.
No, that's it. Don't. Wow, those turkeys are really loud outside my window. Sorry, that was.
I'm sorry. Turkeys?
Oh yeah, we just have giant piles of wild turkeys that roam the neighborhood. There's like 50 of them.
What?
Yeah, no, I'll show you pictures of. Yeah, they're currently setting off my security system. It's like there are people in your driveway. They're so big they recognize these people. They are, but they're terrified of my very, very tiny puppy Boots.
I was gonna say, how does Boots think? What does Boots think?
She wants to keep them, so she tries to. So she tries to herd them onto the deck because corgis are herding dogs.
Oh,
really? Yeah. So, like, if we're in different rooms, she tries to headbutt us into the same room because she needs to monitor both of us. And I guess we'll end on a Boots story because we have these turkeys that are always around, and there's like a lot of them, and they're pretty big. And there's a couple like giant alpha male ones that like get like they like try to puff up to look impressive. And they were out in the yard, and I was bringing Boots out to go to the bathroom, and I was like, oh, look at all the turkeys. And she's like bouncing in place, like on the side of the glass door, because she's like, ooh, turkeys. And I was like, all right, we're not going to maul the turkeys. We're just going to go out and they'll just go away. And like we opened the door, and they kind of puffed up. And Boots walks over to the edge of the steps. And to anybody who's seen my dog, she's a little bigger than a football.
She's so cute.
She kind of looks like a jelly bean, but she also sounds a lot bigger than she actually is, which is interesting. But she looked at the turkeys and made one little "oh," and that was like the only sound she made. They all shrunk back down and scattered in all directions. One slammed into a tree and fell down the hill. It was like pandemonium in the yard. And Boots just starts bouncing in place, all excited, like, look what I made the turkeys do. And they're like, turkeys can fly, for anybody who doesn't know. It's a terrifying image.
Yeah.
But they're like going airborne, trying to get away. I'm like, what is happening? Like, these things, the smallest one here is 10 times the size of her. Like, what is going on?
Oh
so
my
yeah,
God.
that's Boots the Destroyer. So
Boots. This is too amazing.
Next time it happens, you gotta videotape it, man. You gotta record it.
Yeah.
But yes, and that's why if they ever try to get bold and stay in the yard, she tries to like snip at them so they'll go onto the porch so she can monitor them. It's like, no, we can't keep the turkeys. But
yeah, that was a good note to end the show on.
Yep.
Since this has been over another 2 hours, I do not know, something like that. We are gonna wrap it up quickly so we can all go eat food and I can go to sleep. You can follow everything we do over at usb.net. There you can find, no, not yet. You can still find the links at dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. Still in the process of going through all of those, creating a full like information page on USB for the podcast and reorganizing the Dungeon Crawler Network website as an archive. But yeah, uesb.net, dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. You can still find things there. You can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/UESP, where you can find Elder Scrolls themed rewards while supporting the show and your favorite Elder Scrolls wiki and the Guardians of the Lore. You can also leave us a 5-star review on iTunes so people know that we are a real podcast, that we say real words, and sometimes it matters, especially when it's against the Guar and it's against the AD. Thank you so very much for joining us on this episode of Tales of Tamriel. We will see you all next week. Have a great
Bye,
night,
guys.
see you later, everybody.
When Akatosh slew Lorcan, he ripped his heart right out. He hurled it across Tamriel, and the heart was heard to shout, red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. The laughing heart sprayed blood afar, a gout on Seer it fell, and like a dart shot to its mark down in an alien well. Magicka fused the Lorcan blood to crystal red and strong. Then wild elves cut and polished it down to Chimel at a ball. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. When elves lost Nirn to men, Akatosh gave the stone to Saint Alesh in token of her right to sit the throne. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. Red diamond, protect us till the end.